Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is Tony Holowitz, and now that we have started creating a PowerPoint presentation, I want to just show you around the screen a little bit, get you acclimated to what we're seeing and how we can work with this. Well, we use the Auto Content Wizard to start a presentation. We used a generic presentation, and what has occurred is we have a tab right here that says Outline. So the outline is just the outline of what PowerPoint is laid out for you in order to create a presentation. So when you look at this outline, and again, this was a generic presentation, this outline can be used as a tool to help you do your layout before you ever sit down to use PowerPoint. I don't know if that makes sense, but in other words, we're using their outline to help you do your outline on paper, which I urge you to do before you ever sit down to actually do the presentation. If you have it sort of thought out on a piece of paper, it's going to be easier to get that information into PowerPoint. Get it completely planned out and then use PowerPoint as the tool to take your thoughts and get them into a presentation. So the first thing we see here on the left hand side is the outline. That really sort of sticks out. Also right here we're actually seeing the slide that PowerPoint present or created regarding this outline. So our first slide is slide 1. We see the number 1. We see the title. If we want to jump down to slide number 6, for example, I could click on this and now we see all this information on the slide. We can edit the slide in a variety of ways. I'll get to that in a little bit. But this is the first thing we see. We see the outline view. If we actually want to see the slides, we can click on Slides, that tab, and we see that we have 9 slides, and if we scroll up and down, we can see slide 1 through 9. If we click on the slide, it will appear on the screen. If you feel you don't have enough room over here on the left hand side, there's a line that goes right here, and you'll find it by putting your pointer close to the edge. You get a two-headed arrow, and I can drag this to the right or back to the left to make things bigger or smaller as you see fit. Down below on the screen we have an area here that's sort of hidden. It says click to add notes. I can add notes about the slide, so if I want to make comments so I know what to talk about when I'm giving the presentation, I can do that. Again, there's a little bar right here. If I bring the pointer up, I get a two-headed arrow. I can drag this up and down. That is obviously smaller, but I have more room to add notes. Let's go back to the outline for a moment. That's one way. If we come down at the very bottom left, we're going to see that we have a couple different views, actually 3 views. One's the normal view, which is what we're seeing now. 2 is what's called the slide sorter view, where it just lays out all of our slides, all 9 of them, in an area that we can manipulate these or move them around, and I'll show you that later. The last viewing option is actually the slideshow. Before I click on this, I want to click on slide 1 and then go click on the slideshow. And the reason I did that is because I want the first slide to show up. So we actually have a presentation that we can work with right now. To make that presentation move, there are a variety of ways you can do this. There's more than one way. If I use the right arrow key on my keyboard, I can go on to the next slide. So again, I use the right arrow key. If I do it again and again and again, I'll flip through those. I can also use my mouse to click on the screen, and it will also take me through the slides. You'll see the number progressing down on the bottom right. So the first time I used the right arrow key, the second time I used the mouse, and I just simply clicked on the screen. If I want to go backwards, I can use the left arrow. If I want to get out of this, I can hit escape on my keyboard and it gets me out back to my various views. I'm going to go back to the what is called normal view. Again, we have our outline, we have our slides, we have the slide right here, the notes, and we have different options down on the bottom left as to how we want to view it. If we go up to the top, you're going to see, remember I was saying how it's important to recognize that if you're good at Word, this will be easier? Well, as a general rule, when you use Excel or PowerPoint or Word, I always tell people use Word first, learn Word first, because a lot of the options up here, I'm going to assume you know. If you don't know how some of these things work, go take the Microsoft Word training. Because these are different things you can do within PowerPoint. They're very similar to things you can do within Microsoft Word. For example, changing something to bold, changing the type style or the size. So all of those characteristics, all those things you learned about in Word carry over to here. When you open up a PowerPoint, the things down on the bottom right hand side and the top right hand side, these become more applicable to PowerPoint itself. In other words, if you use Word, there are tools on the bottom and top right hand side of the toolbars that really are specific to Word. When you open up PowerPoint, specific to PowerPoint, Excel, specific to Excel. So it's sort of the top and bottom left that are unique to all three. You get over to the right hand side, top and bottom, and these are some of the options that are unique to the particular software you've opened up. So again, get good at Microsoft Word because it will carry over into everything you do when working with Microsoft Office. So we've now seen the screen. We have the options up top, we have the toolbars, and I've shown you around the screen. I wanted you to get comfortable with it. And in our next tutorial, we will go in and start actually adding and changing content and taking a look at how we can do that. My name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you so very much for being here. Have a great day.